Hello, welcome back to Fallout 76. Let's talk about XP. I saw a very interesting post by Jake VR83 a little while back that you may want to know about. Full credit of course goes to Jake and the two others who helped him in doing the calculations, Bindi1224 and Gears of Fate. Very nicely done to all of you. I've only now had the chance to confirm it for myself, but it looks like each point of intelligence now gives you a 3% XP bonus, as opposed to the 2% it was before. That doesn't sound like much, but that increase from intelligence gets multiplied by XP bonuses like lunchboxes and well rested. I would have definitely noticed a difference while doing West Tek for the new season, but I want to make sure that Jake and his friends get the credit they deserve for sharing with the community. With the new season starting and the new mechanics, I think it's a good idea to refresh ourselves on the best ways to increase your XP gain. If you're below rank 100 on the season board, then every 10,000 XP gives you 100 score, so you can use that to rank up on the season if you want to. That's exactly how I hit rank 100 over the weekend. There's also a double score weekend scheduled to start on June 20, so that will become 200 score for every 10,000 XP. This is the time to use those score boosters consumables if you have any. So let's talk about the XP bonuses you can get, how to get them, and then I'll cover the methods you can use to grind for XP, including the best method for low level players. The way the calculation goes is that the base experience of enemies gets added to by the bonus from intelligence. I tested with several different situations to see if the calculations in the post were correct. With my main character, I get an intelligence of 40, and there's no XP bonuses in play. Level 100 mutants give me 440 XP consistently. Now I'll take off my unyielding set. That brings my intelligence down to 25. That's purely from the egghead and herd mentality mutations. And again, there's no XP bonuses. Now level 100 mutants at West Tek give 350 XP. 40 intelligence giving 440 XP matches exactly what's in the post. And 25 intelligence gives you an XP figure that's halfway between what's listed for 20 and 30 intelligence. The original claim in the post that each point of intelligence gives you 3% is confirmed. With the previous system, that would have been 360 XP at 40 intelligence. That extra 80 XP difference doesn't seem like much, but when you're nuking West Tek repeatedly, it can add up to quite a lot. And that figure will also be multiplied by every bonus that we'll talk about later in the video. But before we do that, let's cover how to boost your intelligence as high as possible. The first step is your armor. A full unyielding set with a +1 intelligence for the second star will give you +4 per piece. That's an extra 20 intelligence for 5 pieces. If you're trying to roll a set, keep in mind that the chances are very small. Focus on getting a full unyielding set first so you can play in it. Then once you have that, focus on getting an unyielding with whatever second or third stars you want. The under armor should be a flannel shirt and jeans, because the linings give you a bonus to intelligence. You can get the plans from containers, enemies, and events that take place in the Cranberry Bog and the Mire. But yes, it is RNG based. Luckily most of the linings are sold by the free states and boss spenders. But the shielded lining, which gives you a +3 bonus, is very grindy to get. You have a small chance to get it from the Queen of the Night event. It's perfectly viable to use the other linings for +1 or +2 intelligence without losing too much. Get the egghead and herd mentality mutations. Then equip Class Freak to minimize the negative effects, and Strange in Numbers to boost the positive effects. That will be a +10 to intelligence from those two mutations, with a -1 if you have the marsupial mutation. And of course, join a casual group with a total of 4 members. Once you've got max relationship, that will give you a +4 to intelligence. It's also possible to boost your natural intelligence to 20. The normal maximum is 15, but you can also equip the legendary intelligence perk for another +5 intelligence. Bear in mind that you can only have 15 perk slots per attribute, so doing it that way will waste 5 perk slots. The punch card machine at every rail station or your camp lets you change your attributes by pressing the R key in your active profile. This is something you should only do while you're grinding XP. The 5 perk points you just lost can be very useful. At night time, you can get a further +3 from the night person perk under perception. In real time, night only goes for about 36 minutes, so you'll have a small boost about half the time you're grinding XP. Then come the consumables. You can only have one of the same bonus from each type, and generally they'll last for 1 hour or so. The best boost comes from brain bombs or broiled scorch beast brains. With the herbivore or carnivore mutations respectively, plus the strange in numbers perk, you get a plus 7.5 bonus to intelligence. If you have the Live and Love 3 or the Backwoodsman 6 magazines, that will boost the effect of vegetable or meat foods for 30 minutes, or 1 hour if you also use the Curator perk. Brain bombs and scorch beast brains will then give 11.25 extra intelligence. Then you can complement that with berry mentats to give you a +5 intelligence boost for 5 minutes, and up to 10 minutes if you use the Chem Fiend perk. All of these consumables are pretty easy to get, so you should prepare quite a lot of them before you start grinding XP. There are other foods that give you smaller bonuses, but these are the ones you should be aiming for because you can only have one food bonus and one Chem bonus to intelligence active at the same time. They're a bit more difficult to come by, but you can also use the intelligence bobblehead for a +2 bonus to intelligence for 1 hour, and 2 hours with the Curator perk. The mechanical derby camp item will give you another +2 bonus to intelligence, but for only 30 minutes. You get it for 1250 gold from Mortimer at the Raider camp. This one's worth activating at the start of the grind, so use it at yours or someone else's camp, then fast travel to West Tek and then apply all the other bonuses like lunchboxes. Once it expires, it's not worth traveling back and forth to reapply it while other bonuses are active. Although you can set up your camp right next to where you grinded for XP for easy access. Technically speaking, it is also possible to get a +2 bonus from Nuka Twists, but the bonus is random and it only goes for 10 minutes, so it's really not worth bothering with. So how much intelligence can you get? You start with 20 from your base intelligence and the legendary perk, add 20 due to your full unyielding and +1 intelligence set, then add +3 for the shielded flannel under armor. Egghead and herd mentality give you +10 and -1 from Marsupial for a +9 total. +4 from your casual group, +2 from mechanical derby, +3 from night person at night time. And finally, consumables give you 16.25 or 18.25 if you also use the bobblehead. That's a total of 79.25 intelligence. But it's more likely that you'll run out of camp bonuses and magazines and bobbleheads. So the more realistic figure is around 72 intelligence at night and 69 during the day.
69? Nice. Very nice. Okay.
Did you do that deliberately, Bethesda? Anyway, with an intelligence of 69, each level 100 mutant can be 69 for 614 XP. In other words, an extra 414 XP per mutant. I personally don't have all int boosting legendary armor yet, but you can see that it's not too difficult to boost your intelligence. But you can boost that figure even further with XP bonuses. The way the calculation works is that the XP you get from an enemy is added to by your intelligence. Then the total is multiplied by every single XP bonus you have. The easiest and most permanent one is the Inspirational 3 perk. That gives you a +15% XP bonus. And if you're still at the point where levels matter, then it's a perk you should think about having on all the time. Fallout 76 has double XP weekends every so often, and when they're on, every player gets a 100% XP boost. You don't have to do anything other than play during those times, so those weekends are ideal to grind for XP and season score. The rest of the bonuses are time based and last for about an hour each. Sleeping in a bed or bag will give you the rested or well rested bonus for 5% XP. The difference is the duration of the bonus. Any random bed will give you 1 hour, and sleeping near an ally, in other words at your camp, will make it last for 1.5 hours. The Lover's Embrace from a romanced ally will last for 3 hours. Everybody should be able to get this bonus very easily, but dying resets it. If you also did the Mothman events that were on a few weeks ago, you probably also have the Mothman Tome Camp item. That will give you a 5% XP bonus. You can get the same bonus from the Stephen Scarberry ally once per day, or the Path of Enlightenment event. Note that they override each other. You can only have one active, so if you have the tome, then that's what you should be using. Speaking of ally bonuses, you can also get another 5% from Leo Petrov if you give him a Nuka Cranberry once a day. You can drink the cranberry directly, but it overrides other food bonuses, so save them for Leo. Each camp you have can have a different ally, and you can swap between allies in the same camp pretty quickly. The biggest and most important bonus by far is lunchboxes. Each one gives you a 25% boost to XP, and you can stack up to 4 of them for a maximum of 100% extra XP. You can buy them for gold at the Foundation or the Creator Gold vendors. They sell 3 at a time, but you can buy the 3, leave the vendor interface, and re-engage, and you'll see 3 more available. Repeat until you have as many as you like. There should also be a gold exchange machine nearby that you can use to trade treasury notes you got from events for gold bullion. A daily cap of 400 bullion applies. The second biggest bonus is from Tasty Squirrel Stew or Cranberry Relish. Both normally give you a 25% XP bonus for 1 hour if you have the Carnivore or Herbivore mutation and the Stranger Numbers perk. Cranberry Relish will be boosted up to 37.5% with the Live and Love 3 magazine. Both are pretty easy to farm, and you should be able to buy the recipe from Antoine at the White Spring Mall. You can find squirrels in the White Spring grounds, in the wooded area north of the Enclave bunker entrance. And cranberries can be harvested from the Cranberry Bog, funnily enough. The pond at Sunrise Field is around 17, and the overgrown Sundew Grove has 15 plants you can harvest. Note that you can't use diseased cranberries for the recipe. They're pretty easy to make once you know the recipe, and you should be using them regularly anyway. And finally, there is the Leader Bobblehead, which gives you 5% more XP, but it can't be used together with the Intelligence Bobblehead. It's one or the other, and the Intelligence one is marginally better, but the difference is not massive. So what does that add up to? In total, that gives you 333% of the normal XP without the magazine, and 366% of the normal XP if you use the Live and Love 3 magazine. During a double XP weekend, that becomes 732% of the normal XP value. A level 100 super mutant at West Tek with an intelligence of 69 and a 732% XP multiplier will give you 4,495 XP. With the old system of 2% XP for each point of intelligence, that would have been 3,484 XP. So you can see that the small initial difference from intelligence becomes pretty big because the bonuses multiply. Ultimately, it's not profitable to get every tiny little bonus. You get more XP by throwing a few more Nuka grenades than you do by getting all the XP bonuses. What you should focus on is maxing your natural intelligence, getting a full set of unyielding gear and the flannel under armor if possible, the egghead and herd mentality mutations, plus brain bombs or scorch beast brains, and follow that up with berry mentats. All of these are not too difficult to obtain, and you'll still be getting quite a lot of XP per mutant. Now that we know how to max our XP per enemy, let's talk about how to get the most XP in the shortest amount of time. That's running West Tek. Once you've done the quest to uncover the secrets of West Tek, the location will become instanced, and the enemies will reappear every time the instance is reset. That means you can run through, kill every mutant, walk out for 1 minute or so, and come back in for another killing spree. Basically, you have an unlimited amount of high level enemies. But you can get even more XP per minute if you use Nuka grenades. The secret is that the Nukas go through walls, so they're the most effective at killing enemies in places that have obstacles and walls. Equip a bloody or an instigating weapon. Grenades get boosted by a weapon's first legendary property, so an instigating weapon will do double damage against enemies at full health. It doesn't matter what the weapon is, only the first star matters. Grenades do not get boosted by weapon damage boosting perks, but you should have them on anyway. Equip Nuka grenades, then the Grenadier 2 and Demolition of 5 perks to boost them. Bloody Mess under luck for an extra 15% damage boost, plus the Chem Fiend perk to make berry mentats last longer, and Adrenaline Rush under agility for an extra damage boost. You can also use the fire in the hole perk to see the trajectory of grenades if you're having trouble with throwing the grenades. Then run through the initial area and manually kill all the enemies. That will increase the damage bonus from Adrenaline Rush. By the time you've cleared all the initial rooms, your bonus should be at the maximum. Just before you open this door, use a Berry Mentat. Open the door and throw the grenade at the left side of the central column. You want to aim for the bottom so it doesn't bounce back. Then sprint down the hall. You can walk, but there's a chance you'll get hit by the radiation from the grenade. Then open this door and throw the grenade at the bottom of the second to last column. Then sprint away from the blast again. And finally use the terminal to open the door. Aim for the rubble on the left side and aim for the corner between the wall and the collapsed walkway. And sprint back towards the entrance. From here, you have two choices. One is to simply leave West Tek altogether, wait a minute, and come back in to repeat everything from the start. Or you can go back into the research section, maybe finish off a few stragglers, and use the elevator to go downstairs. This is another instanced area, and there's more enemies to kill. You can kill them all, or you can kill some while you wait a minute before you go back up the elevator. It's a good idea to loot frag grenades from these enemies so you can craft more nukers. Once back upstairs, open the door and you'll be back at the entry. Make sure you open this door before you start the run again, otherwise you won't be able to escape after you throw the last grenade. Basically you repeat this process until you've got enough experience for whatever you want, or your brains fall out of your ears from sheer boredom. I do not recommend running West Tek unless you've got a specific goal that requires a lot of experience very quickly. Finishing the scoreboard comes to mind, and frankly, there's no other scenario where I think West Tek is worth the effort. But running West Tek requires a lot of things. You have to know how to craft nuclear grenades. You have to have lunchboxes. You have to have a bloody or instigating weapon. You have to have brain bombs and squirrel stew, and so on. It's not something a new player can do easily. Yes, low-level players sometimes also need to grind XP for the scoreboard. West Tek is obviously out of the question, but you can use Atlantic City expeditions instead. The reason is that the experience rewards are not level scaled. Everybody gets 20,000 XP after finishing the expedition in a full group. Yes, even a level 1 player. And yes, 20,000 XP is not amazing for a high level character, but for a level 1, that will send you shooting up the levels. Even better is that enemies in the Atlantic City expeditions are level scaled. So you can literally leave the vault as a level 1 character, join an expedition, and you do decent damage against enemies. The biggest issue is that low level characters can't start expeditions until they do the quest at Whitespring. There's nothing stopping you from joining existing groups, but you can't start your own. So you may want to prioritize doing that quest. From then on, you can repeat expeditions as much as you want for 20,000 XP per run. There's many benefits for low level characters, not least of which is getting legendary gear. The easiest one to repeatedly grind is the most sensational game that takes place at the boardwalk. If you know what you're doing, it should take no more than 10 minutes per run. If there's enough demand, I may make a guide to expeditions, so let me know if that's the case. So there you go. I hope that this guide will help you if you have to grind for XP or you want to finish the scoreboard faster. Good luck. I hope your brains don't get fried from the repeated grinding. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. See you soon.